Hello, my name is Apurva. I'm from India.
Hi everyone, I'm Lydia and I'm from Hong Kong.
Hello, my name is Benedict. I'm originally from Germany.
Hello, my name is Evan Zhao. I come from Beijing, China.
Hi, my name is Joseph Maxuvi II, and I am from Haiti.
My name is Partha Chakraborty. I'm from India.
My name is Tanushree Ghosh. I'm from India.
My name is Quentin, and I'm from Taiwan.
When you have to study and learn other stuff in a language that is not yours.
When I first got to the U.S., it was really stressful as I could talk to the people here, but I couldn't fully illustrate what I want to say all the time. Because of limitations in vocabulary, limitations in idioms, I didn't understand what they were saying.
American students, they are more involved in class. They are just raise their hands up or just say the answer loudly. But I kind of want to hide myself. I'm kind of shy. I don't want anybody see me during the class, but sometimes they will force you, to answer the questions.
The idioms and similes and sort of the language quirks. So not just the accent.
It was really frustrating for the first couple years being here.
Thanks for the SSN letter, but can you tell me where the Social Security Administration is located?
Yeah. So the address closest to the Social Security office is on this handout. Just go to the address on that handout.
Thanks, but could you please give me more detailed directions?
Okay. Go out of the building, take a right. Go to the transportation hub, wait for the tech trolley. The tech trolley is going to take you to the Midtown MARTA station. Do you have a breeze card? You're going to need a breeze card to get on the MARTA. It's $2.50 a ride if you do have a breeze card. It's $3.50 a ride if you don't have a breeze card. Take MARTA south towards the airport, but don't go to the airport. Go to the Civic Center station. Get off at the Civic Center station, but get off on West Peachtree Street. Don't get off on Spring Street. On West Peachtree Street, you're going to walk south for 2 blocks to 4801 West Peachtree Street. Got it?
So after I leave the building, what do I do?
After you leave the building, you're going to have to go and get on the tech trolley. The tech trolley is going to take you to the MARTA.
Back when I first came, people spoke pretty fast and I couldn't fully understand them. A lot of times I'd require the teachers or students' friends to slow down to be able to understand. And a significant transition back down to Atlanta, to the south as well, is that some people have really heavy southern accent, and it was also really hard to understand.
But when I came to the South, my accent had changed a little bit, so people would speak faster and then assume that I was American or whatever. And sometimes I wouldn't quickly catch what they were trying to say, especially the Southern accent is a little bit different. So sometimes I wouldn't understand what they were trying to say and have to ask them to slow down and repeat themselves.
I would say explaining or correct pronunciation of my name would be more important example, because anytime I'm trying to explain my name to a friend or to an acquaintance or a stranger rather.
The manner in which people communicate is a reflection of their culture. Like people from any country, Americans have their own communication style. Americans tend to be direct and clear communicators. They expect others to get to the point and say what they mean. Most people raised in the United States will ask many questions in a direct manner. They are not accustomed to subtle cues or indirect messages. They tend to use a higher level of eye contact than people from other countries. One communication method that some international students are not accustomed to is the idea of small talk. This informal type of discourse may be perceived by others as not having much purpose. In the U.S., small talk is used to create bonds between acquaintances or people that do not know each other well. Topics of conversation that are viewed as appropriate in the U.S. are the weather, sports, music, movies, and one's classes or jobs. Topics that are normally viewed as inappropriate to discuss with people that one does not know well are money or one's salary, religion, and politics. When communicating, Americans tend to use humor to make their point or diffuse uncomfortable situations. They also use humor to bond with others, which can be confusing for international students who do not have the same knowledge base to reference or an understanding of American sarcasm. Although these examples are generalizations, international students should be aware of these concepts in order to effectively communicate with Americans who may not be aware that communication styles differ throughout the world.
So how do you think you did in your exam?
I think I did okay. The essay questions was really hard, so I don't think I got enough time to write everything down. But apart from that, I think it was okay.
Yeah, for me it was okay too, but I think that the multiple choice questions were very tricky. But in the end it was okay.
Yeah. You have an interesting accent. Where are you from?
Well, I'm from Brazil.
So you must speak French and Spanish. So I took a year of French when I was in high school. I'm basically fluent.
So not exactly.
No?
Actually, we speak Portuguese, but Spanish is very similar, so I can understand it very well. And I already know French, so if you want to talk to me in French, it's okay.
Okay.
Yo, and where are you from?
I'm from Pakistan, but I basically grew up in United Arab Emirates.
Oh, nice. It's like Africa.
Oh no, that's actually the Middle East.
Oh.
I knew that.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
So you must be really excited in Brazil about the World Cup this year.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
A lot of people don't really discern between Asians, just out of habit or whatnot. And I like it. I like to tell people I'm from Taiwan and to be able to say that I'm different from other Asians around. Taiwanese is Taiwanese, Japanese are Japanese, and we all have our own cultures, just like England and America.
But to me, like Hong Kong, it's an international city, so I was expecting a lot of people would have at least heard of it before.
Well, especially after the 2010 earthquake that happened in Haiti, most of the people I meet usually know a bit about Haiti, but they might not know actually where it is, or they might have some misconception, but actually most people do know about Haiti. Some people think that it's in Africa, and actually we're in the Caribbean, so that location is mostly what they don't know.
One of the very short questions we are asked is, did you have an arranged marriage or a love marriage, or did you know each other before, or how do you interact with each other before?
During their time in the U.S., it is common for international students to become confused or maybe even frustrated by Americans who lack an understanding of their foreign culture. When encountering people who are not aware of their culture, it is recommended that international students use these opportunities to share their culture and teach others about their country. Americans tend to be genuinely interested in learning more about the world, but may not have had the opportunity to travel abroad to learn firsthand. International students should use these opportunities to not only educate others, but also learn more about American culture.
Oh, hey man, what's up?
Hey, how are you doing? Last weekend Okay.
Oh, hey man, what's up?
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Awesome, I tell you. This last weekend, it was so great. I went to Washington, D.C. with a friend. Standing in front of the White House, standing in front of the Capitol, seeing the Pentagon, and all these gorgeous museums, so beautiful, I can't imagine. Such a great weekend.
Hey, that sounds awesome. I actually got to run, but hey, I'm throwing a party on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Let me text you on Friday about it.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thanks very much. Looking forward to it.
Cool.
Thanks
Okay.
a lot for the invite.
Bye.
See you then. I wonder why he didn't text me.
Here, wherever you go, people say, hi, how are you? It's not required that you know that person. So I think this is a very good thing.
So I think the term American is very hard to define because there's all kinds of Americans. When I first got into school at Purdue, I think I gravitated towards an Indian group of friends. They were a mix between straight from India, straight from other countries, and then actually American citizens. But they were all sort of Indian origin. That's where I felt most comfortable. My advice to international students would be to not do that, to try and break away from that clan where you will feel comfortable and actually explore other different cultures, other different personality types, and other groups of people that you may not always be comfortable with, but you can learn so much from.
I always tried to keep in contact with American friends of mine, not like in this international circle of students that tend to form, but I always try to hang out with my American friends and that helped me a lot.
Always mix with different people, because if you rely on a particular community, it is difficult, because you don't know when you need help or when you want to share your happiness. They might be in a different place, and so if you have local friends, so you can always share your sorrows and happiness with them.
At first, I was nervous, but I realized that once you start like small talks with them, like for example, change your name and major and the movies or the music you like, they will start talking to you. And my advice to internet students will be don't be shy, just start talking. They're friendly, they're nice.
While in the U.S., some international students may find it difficult to make meaningful relationships with Americans or are disappointed with the friends they have made. This is mostly due to the fact that there is a cultural element to building connections. The United States has a culture of mobility. Unlike people in many other countries, Americans tend to move around. Students tend to enroll in colleges in other cities or states, and some employers require their employees to take positions on the other side of the country. It is very common for Americans to live hundreds, if not thousands of miles or kilometers away from their families. For this reason, Americans tend to develop friendly yet casual friendships. They have many acquaintances, but far fewer close friends. Many Americans are open to meeting new people, but they do not always pursue friendships. Due to this custom, international students may perceive interactions with Americans as superficial. During your time in the U.S., you will commonly hear people use the expression, "let's do lunch," but it does not necessarily mean that they intend to set a date right away. In addition, it is common for Americans to say, "What's up?" or "Hi, how are you?" while passing by an acquaintance or even a close friend, but do not necessarily stop to get an answer. Although it may be challenging to make friends with Americans at first due to these cultural differences, it is a very important part of your educational and social experience here at Georgia Tech. There are over 50 cultural diversity-based student organizations at Georgia Tech, and it is encouraged that new students get involved in an organization they identify with. However, it is also encouraged that international students join interest-based groups, form study groups, or get involved in the community to build relationships with others outside their culture. Studies have shown that international students who are more engaged in their university are more likely to have academic success.
And the biochem quiz was horrible.
Terrible.
Yeah.
So hard.
Yeah.
So.
See everyone tonight at 8 p.m. in the study room?
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good.
All right, great.
Sounds great. All right, well, it's 8 o'clock. You guys want to get started? You want to give Raj a call and see where he's at?
Yeah, let me ring him real quick. And I got voicemail. Okay, well.
Do you guys want to just go ahead and start without him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here all night.
Yeah.
So let's break it down into parts then.
Okay, but I really don't want to do military, so why don't I take political? Is that okay?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to do military either, so I'll take economics.
Okay.
I gotta agree with you guys. I honestly think military is gonna be really hard. So I'm gonna grab geography.
Well, I guess then Ridge gets military.
Yeah, you wanna try him again?
Yeah, if he answers. Hey, Ridge Raj, it's 8 o'clock and we're all meeting for the group project. Are you coming? 8:30? Yeah, man, don't even bother coming. We broke the project into assignments and you got assigned the military portion. Well, yeah, man, I mean, you weren't here on time and we had to get started. Okay. All right, thank you. See you in class tomorrow. Well, he's not coming.
8:30? Really?
Right.
All right, well, let's just go ahead and get started.
Yeah.
I've noticed that punctuality is very important in the United States, and so I used to stress myself out a lot about trying to be somewhere on time. I think the first few months I was here, because I'd be like, oh my God, everyone's going to think I'm that person if I come late. But eventually that just became something that I started doing naturally, and I think that's actually been a good thing because it's important to be punctual and it shows respect for your time and for the other person's time.
Well, actually, this one was like very, very different because when I was in Haiti, if they would tell me that I should be there in an event at 8 a.m., I would start to prepare myself at 8 a.m. But here, it's definitely different because you actually have to be at 8 a.m. So people would need to learn that.
I mean, obviously, in informal settings, people can be late more often, but then generally everyone wants everyone to be on time. Yeah. And early is not always better. It's just on time.
Well, in class, if you are 5 minutes late, you already lose the topic. You might never pick it up until like even at the end, you might need to relearn, reread the stuff in the book. Even if it is just 5 minutes, so you actually need to be on time here.
One's culture also impacts how someone views the concept of time. In the U.S., time is considered to be limited and valuable. Because time is considered to be scarce, many Americans will plan out each day to ensure the maximum productivity, allocating each minute to a particular task or activity. Examples of the value of time include the use of class syllabi that are distributed to students at the beginning of the semester, or the use of strict agendas during business meetings. Both have a sequential approach with deadlines to ensure that tasks are completed on time. Since time is viewed as a limited resource, Americans see being on time as a sign of respect. It can be considered to be disrespectful to be even 5 or 10 minutes late. For this reason, international students should be sure to try their best to keep to project deadlines and to be on time for class and appointments. It is even considered to be rude if someone is late to meet up with friends for dinner or even a casual party.
In Haiti, generally, we are more religious. I mean, it doesn't matter the religion, but most people believe and God. You won't find atheists that much. For most of the, young people I've met, religion is not the predominant thing. While in Haiti, it's a bit different. Most people like go to church on Sundays or Saturdays.
Well, in India, we get vacations for almost all major holidays for all major religions. In America, it's sort of, I think it's not really a mix. It's mainly just federal holidays, and then religion is separated from that a little bit.
So many different religions live together on such a close space. Usually they get along very well. Nobody is trying to convert somebody else to his religion, you know. They're just living their religion and are content with it, and are fine with other people having other religions. That was really amazing, yeah. Because we just usually don't have this religious diversity in Germany.
Here in the U.S., Christianity is really big. And Christianity is very different from the religions that dominate my home country, Taoism, Buddhism. It influences people's lives a lot more. Whereas a Buddhist who believes in Buddhism back in my home country, unless they're actual monks, there's no actual practices. They don't sit down every day to pray or do specific things. It's more of a lifestyle.
People here talk about God more. Like some people, even if they're not Christians or they don't have like a specific religion, they still believe in God. But in Hong Kong, like there are so many other religions that are popular, like such as Buddhists.
I find that people are very open to discussing their religion, and there's a lot of churches and mosques within walking distance of campus. I've actually attended a few services just out of curiosity, and I think that's really great that people are open to letting you in and experiencing something with you as well. However, I don't think it's like something you start a conversation with. It's something you have in conversation after you know the person. So it's been a nice broad experience, and I think there's definitely a lot of freedom in your religious choices, and that was nice.
Depending on the country of comparison, the United States may be viewed as either a very religious or a secular society. Compared to other Western countries, the U.S. is considered to be a very religious country, with the majority of Americans being Christian. However, in the U.S., there is a separation of church and state, which may differ from other religious countries. Although Christians are in the majority, Americans practice a wide range of religions, while others do not associate with any faith. The religious landscape in the U.S. is very interesting. However, Americans view religion as a very personal choice, and for this reason, most Americans are not open to discussing the topic with people they do not know well. However, there are a wide range of opportunities for students, both on and off campus, to connect with others of the same faith and learn about religions from around the world.
For example, during the class, if there's a row and this row has 10 seats and there are 2 American students sit together, I'll at least keep 2 or 3 seats, between me and them to make them feel comfortable. Also, kind of like elevator or something or lift, I will keep some space between me and them to make both of us, comfortable. But in China, we have huge populations. So once you are in a metro or a subway, the car will be very crowded. So people will just next to you, very close.
Yeah, definitely. I see that there is a definite respect that you have for another person's personal space here, and it's a little more talked about. It's a little more aware. People are more aware of that. I would definitely not stand too close. I'm not sure how to define awkwardly close, but I guess a foot is too close. So be arm's distance away, I think, is comfortable, simply because you don't know how that other person is reacting to what may be comfortable for you. So I think it's better to err on the safer side.
People here would give each other hugs, even if they don't know that person very well. That's just a friendly thing to do. But in Hong Kong, we would never do that unless it's someone you're really close with.
I think they value their personal space a lot. And especially if you're talking with a girl, you might not want to lean forward too much. It's they get a bit creeped out. So you might want to, keep a safe distance.
I think personal space in India is very different to personal space in UAE. It's very different to personal space in America. With my Indian cousins and Indian friends, I'm more comfortable going up, giving them a hug. In UAE, we sort of shake hands, or we do the complete opposite and touch cheeks and kiss a little. And that's just how the greeting is with people of your own gender. So coming here, it's different because it's sort of a mix between the two. And it really depends on how comfortable you are with that person. So there's no formal greeting. I think the formal greeting is just a handshake. But then as you get to know the person better, it's like a hug or something. But I think that was always a little bit awkward.
What is viewed as the appropriate distance between individuals varies from one culture to another. Americans tend to have 4 zones depending on their level of comfort with those around them. Anything less than 1.5 feet away, or a little less than half a meter, is considered to be intimate space, which is reserved for handshaking or interactions with people who one knows very well. The next zone, the casual zone, extends until about 4 feet, or about 1.2 meters away from one's body. This space is appropriate for close friends. When interacting with acquaintances, Americans are commonly comfortable with standing no closer than 4 feet, or about 1.2 meters away from the person with whom they are speaking. In the U.S., the appropriate length of space between 2 people is about the length of one's arm. Any closer can be considered an invasion of space. Beyond 12 feet, or about 3.7 meters, is considered to be public space and used when interacting with strangers. Later in this video, the consequences of not respecting one's personal space will be discussed.
College-age students in America are a lot more outgoing and a lot more attentive, try to find partners, try to have fun. Whereas in Asia, people are still more conservative.
I don't think it's that different. I mean, in every culture, you'll always find people that are a little bit more conservative than others that are a bit more liberal. I think it's the same thing. I mean, on the perspective of American girls or Haitian girls, I think.
People in Hong Kong take dating more seriously because Asians are a little more conservative. They wouldn't date someone they just met.
Depending on where they are from, international students may find the dating culture in the U.S., and specifically on an American college campus, to be confusing or challenging. When compared to citizens of other countries, Americans may be viewed as either more conservative or more liberal when it comes to dating and sex. For example, it is common for young adults in the U.S. to be sexually active, but many choose to abstain. Some young adults are inclined to casually date several people prior to engaging in a committed, more serious relationship, while others marry their high school sweetheart. Interracial relationships and same-sex couples are also common, but the level of acceptance varies depending on where the couple lives. International students should evaluate their own cultural and possibly religious beliefs prior to dating in the U.S. to ensure that they are staying true to themselves and not changing their behavior to fit in with the perceived norm. It is also important that international students are aware of sexual conduct that is considered to be inappropriate and potentially against Georgia Tech policy and/or U.S. laws. The Georgia Tech policy covers student-related concerns of sexual harassment, sexual assault, and sexual misconduct, as well as intimate partner and dating violence and stalking. The full policy can be found on the Office of Student Integrity's website. Students who are not aware of these policies may accidentally violate the code of conduct, as a behavior that is acceptable in their home country may not be tolerated at Georgia Tech. For example, at Georgia Tech, sexual harassment includes, but is not limited to, suggestive comments and sexually explicit jokes, repeatedly asking for a date from a person who has indicated that he or she is not interested, and invading a person's personal space, such as standing closer than what is considered appropriate. As previously stated, what is considered to be the appropriate distance between individuals varies from culture to culture. For this reason, it is possible for an international student to accidentally violate a Georgia Tech policy simply due to cultural misunderstandings. There are many resources on campus to assist students to gain support and educate themselves on topics related to dating, sexual health, and sexual misconduct. These resources include the Office of Student Integrity, Health Services, Counseling Services, Women's Resource Center, and Pride Alliance.
The student health insurance is really expensive. Do I really need it?
You do need it. The University System of Georgia requires it. It's mandatory for all students.
Is there any way I can get out of paying for it?
No, you can't get out of paying for it. Anyway, it's very expensive for medical care in the U.S. You really need to have it.
I never get sick. It's a waste of money.
I understand you think it's a waste of money, but it's mandatory. There's no way around it.
Well, in my home country, like for tuition and stuff like that, you might be able to negotiate a little bit further the deadline and straight the deadline a little bit. But here, I mean, your classes just get dropped. I've always tried to respect the deadline because if you don't pay on time, your classes get dropped. I mean, you lose your F1, your foreign status, your visa.
I can see that if I had an administrative issue in India or UAE, we would try to go through the back door and see if there was any way we knew someone who knows someone who could help us out. And obviously, you know, I don't want to talk about it, but there's other ways to get things done. Here, I guess, we don't know anyone who knows anyone because most of us are the first generation here. So I think the easiest way would be to find like a mentor or someone who can help you figure out what the actual laws are. So for me, that was a senior international student in my lab, and he helped me figure out like insurance, things like this. And I think that's what a lot of people try to do. They contact seniors here before they come so that they understand what those policies could be and how they could find alternatives. In terms of actually directly interacting with the administrator, I don't know what I would say. I would understand that that's a policy and that can't be changed, so I don't think I would try to convince them.
If
it really is policy, and there's nothing I can do about it, then it is policy, and I'll definitely accept it.
The U.S. operates under a system of laws that provide both rights and responsibilities for individuals, including international students. These rules can be at the federal, state, city, or institutional level. For example, while studying in the U.S., international students are required to maintain their F or J status as decided by federal regulations. They are also required to follow the policies of the institution in which they are enrolled. For example, policies regarding health insurance requirements. Not knowing a law or policy is not a defense in the U.S. In addition, in the U.S., no means no. Whether it is a police officer or a Georgia Tech administrator, when an American says no, they mean it. No does not mean maybe, ask me again later, or let's bargain. In cases like these, persistence is not considered to be a redeeming quality. A few laws that international students should be aware of are the laws pertaining to driving in the U.S. and legal contracts. Although the rules of the road are relatively standardized in the U.S., each state has the ability to adjust these laws to meet the needs of their particular state. In addition, legal contracts associated with renting an apartment, buying a cell phone plan, or buying a car are binding agreements. It is very difficult to make changes to a contract once it is signed by all parties involved. Also note, the U.S. has strict laws in regards to the use of alcohol and other drugs. The legal drinking age in the U.S. is 21 years old, and possession of an illegal substance can result in criminal action. Lastly, physical or sexual assault is not tolerated in the U.S. and are criminal offenses. While on Georgia Tech's campus, all students are required to comply with laws as well as Georgia Tech policy. Starting October 1st, 2014, Georgia Tech is a tobacco and smoke-free campus. This policy prohibits the use of all forms of tobacco, including but not limited to cigarettes, chewing tobacco, hookahs, and electronic cigarettes.
Man, I'm so glad we're done with that project.
Me too. I was talking to some people in our class who have the flu, and they're so sick they haven't done any work on the project.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh man, hand sanitizers.
Yeah, please.
Thanks.
All the flu going around. I'm not trying to get sick. Hey man, do you want some?
No, I'm good.
You sure? There's germs everywhere, especially all over the door handles.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's also a personality thing, so it can vary from family to family. My parents always asked me to, be really neat and well presented, and I think that translated well over here. I find girls use a lot of makeup on like an everyday basis. For me, that was like a special occasion thing. And I find that people are pretty well presented at all times, and that's how they consider first impressions and everything like that is very important.
I mean, people are of course concerned with their personal hygiene and try to look pretty, but I mean, that's the same in Germany. So I didn't, from university culture and from the people I met here, there's basically no difference.
The most important part is that being responsible for your own health and hygiene. It's not that, oh, I didn't get time for laundry. It's not a good answer. It's like, you have to do your laundry no matter how busy you are, or you still have to shave your face no matter how busy you are. I mean, those are part of just as important as eating or sleeping, actually. So
I think all of my American friends, classmates, they look very fresh and clean every day. But I think everybody can pay attention to their appearance, so they look fresh.
Although it can be an uncomfortable topic of conversation, appearance, personal hygiene, and cleanliness are important topics for discussion. Like the concept of time and space, there is a cultural element when it comes to personal hygiene. In some cultures, the scent of another person is considered natural and contributes to the communication system within the culture. However, Americans have been taught that natural scents are offensive and prefer perfumed scents. It is believed that the basis of this cultural attribute is the fact that the U.S. has a consumer culture. Many international students are surprised by the number of products that are available at a grocery store or pharmacy, and the number of products associated with hygiene and cleanliness alone is infinite. Most Americans abide by the following hygienic practices: shower or bathe daily, use deodorants with an antiperspirant under their arms, wash their clothes after each wear, and pay special attention to dental care by brushing their teeth twice a day and seeing a dentist about twice a year. Even though international students are not required to abide by these practices, it has been found that students who do not follow some of these standard guidelines have a difficult time in social environments and developing friendships with others.
I mean, the people as a whole, they smile a lot when when they don't know you on the streets.
But I would get to interact with a whole different group of people, meet and interact with a different set of ideas, I guess.
People just hear that I'm from Germany, but it never altered their behavior, so they just behaved like, as everybody else. So I was just normal part of their group, and we shared different activities together, and it's just this this friendship, and irrespective of where you come from, that I really value highly.
I have to say I like hugging with them. People will like to give a hug once they're back on a vacation or something. I enjoy that moment a lot. Also, I enjoy making, eye contact when people talk here.
I feel like so much freedom because I'm living by myself and I can do whatever I want.
Most important thing, I got very independent, and you can you become very strong.
The Americans I meet are really open-minded, and they're really smart. They do give an effort to try to understand different people and different things.
I mean, the people on a whole are very caring people.
It is an overall great experience. Yeah.
Although your main purpose for coming to Georgia Tech is to study, remember that while you are in the U.S., you are a cultural ambassador from your country. You are here to learn about American culture as well as share your own.
Au revoir. M souhaite ou te remercie si t'as parlé ça.
Goodbye then. Have a great time here in the US and enjoy.
Matsigana. Goodbye. I hope you have a great time like I have.
我希望每个人都能享受你们在美国的时光。
I definitely hope that this positive experience will help you to integrate into different cultures and careers in your life.
Bye bye. 我希望你喺Georgia Tech 有一個好愉快嘅時間啦。
Goodbye. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great time here.